Hey everybody, it's episode 2. I'm here with Brandon Mullins today.
Mr. Slouch Master over here.
I was Slouch Master.
I was in the couch.
That's alright. My dad moved to the couch just last night. Not like to sleep on it, but like he's not in trouble with my mom. He just, he doesn't sleep with my mom typically because, well, they're old people, and I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but yeah, he was comparing the comfort of this chair versus the couch, and I got this chair because it's not a Zaarinen design, but it's kind of like a Zaarinen design.
What is a Zaarinen design?
A Zaarinen design is a building designed by Finnish architect and educated here in Oakland County at Cranbrook.
That's a
famous
private
architect.
school.
Yes, it's a private school, but a famous architect.
That's an 8 Mile reference.
Oh, that's a private school. I haven't seen 8 Mile in a minute, but no, he's responsible for a lot of iconic architecture of the 20th century. If you think of the old TWA terminal at JFK, the one that they use in movies, the kind of like the egg chair, those kind of like the womb chairs. He's got very specific furniture designs, and he's designed buildings as well. Like he did the terminal at Dulles International Airport. He did the Arch of St. Louis. So
Did he do the Detroit side?
no,
Oh.
he's dead.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but one of the greatest of all time. It's weird. The girl who lived next door was talking about going there to study architecture, but she couldn't figure out how to make it work financially. I so wish she had stayed on that path, because I don't know, just basically I was really drunk at the time, and I believed that everything had a connection to everything, and I was very obsessed with Wikipedia. I mean, when you're drunk, you got a lot of time to read. I think, COVID, a lot of Wikipedia. So, but yeah, I'd like to have one of those chairs someday. Yeah, but they're expensive. They're not cheap. I mean,
What percentage of similar is this chair to one of those chairs? Because you said egg shaped, and I'm not seeing it.
No, but he's not the only. That's not the only design he made.
Okay.
It's just designs he's responsible for, and it's similar enough that when I used it as a keyword in Wayfair or Amazon, that it came up, and I'm like, that looks suitable for the host chair. I didn't have furniture before I decided to do this podcast, and so yeah, I don't have a lot of guests, but now I got guests. How about that? So yeah, I got Brandon Kyle Mullins here, who's the host of Let's Book. That's next iteration will be May 13th.
Ding, ding, ding.
May 13th, Monday at
The New Way Bar.
New Way Bar, Ferndale.
Shout out Paul
Michigan. Paul Pipitone, yeah. That might be a crazy one. How many people are you planning on making space for? Because the New Way open mic is so popular that, are you prepared for a big number of people, or do you have the spots limited? Or, I mean, do you already know so many, these are the certain people who are for sure going to be in, and the rest are show up, go up, or how does that work?
Well, the show typically will run. We have 2 bookers that will be, performing, and then we'll open it up to 20 open show up, go up spots. Now, we've had 35 plus comedians show up the last 3 months in a row, so we've done more than 20 every.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll be there.
Yeah, it's hard to turn comedians away that come out to support something like this.
I'll be there. I have absolutely no excuse. It's right down
Yeah. But it's at New Way, so the normal mic at New Way runs from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So, you know, I'm sure Paulie wouldn't mind having a little bit of a night off for however long the show seems to go.
Yeah,
the main thing is to keep it entertaining. If it starts to feel like it's starting to drip off,
I gotcha.
You know, the mic can just go over to Paul. And,
I gotcha.
And do his show, you know.
I gotcha.
So we'll probably go from around, we'll say 7:30 to 9:30, maybe 10. Around there.
Gotcha.
But I would say expect 20 to 30 comedians to do their 2-minute sets in front of bookers. Expect some people to get booked. Expect a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be encouraged to roast me this month.
Okay. That's cool.
And my asthma, apparently.
Yeah, you're having a little bit of a rough time of it today, it seems. That's okay.
Let me take a drink.
Yeah. Let's get this crack of the can. Oh, love that audio. Oh, beautiful. That's an earworm if I heard one.
It's a refreshing part of the conversation.
Do you hate it when people go?
Only if it's intentionally. You know what I mean? Like if you got caught up in a great sip and you're like, dang, that was a great sip, and you do it, you deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're doing it so people know that you took a drink of something and you're just doing it and it was just...
What if you're doing it to be ironic?
If you're doing it to be ironic and you're doing it alone to be ironic, then probably not on your side. But if it's an inside joke, ironically, with you and someone else around, I think I can make that exception.
Okay.
But definitely, like, if you have a drink of something and it's that drink, you're like, this is... You deserve that. Mm-hmm. I'm a beverage guy. I love beverages. And a great sip, a great drink, deserves a little bit of celebration sometimes.
You got a zero sugar beverage in your hand.
It's a zero sugar monster, though.
Yeah, but so... I'm personally, I don't do anything that's zero sugar. I don't do diet anything. I don't do that.
Because of the aspartame?
No, because it just doesn't taste good to me. My friend the other day, he was telling me, if you drink soda, you should drink sparkling water instead if you want something flavored. And I'm like, that's nothing sparkling water can match the kind of sodas I drink. This is perfect for visual demonstration.
I will say the zero sugar monsters don't taste very zero sugar.
No,
not at all.
No, but
I don't drink diet soda or.
I had an orange one, but I've got. This is the kind of soda I drink.
It just looks like alcohol.
Well, they're tall boys. I guess you call this a tall boy. But yeah, Sprecher Brewing, Wisconsin. This one is 260 calories. This one's a whopping 300 calories of goodness. So, that's sugar free. Okay, hold on. Yeah, there's 51 grams of sugar in this one. And in this one, there is 60 grams.
Huh.
So, sparkling water, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much of attachment to the sugar. I'm more attached to the caffeine. I've got a caffeine addiction that's worse than some people's opiate addictions. I'll get a migraine by noon.
I used to mainline so much sugar from drinks. There was a period in my life where there'd be days where all I would do was eat Chips Ahoy and then throw them back with Pepsi. Pepsi was my drink of choice back then, which I don't know. I can't even believe I used to be a Pepsi guy.
Do you remember Pepsi Blue? What a time to be alive for Pepsi Blue.
I remember it vaguely. The thing that more sticks out to me is the Crystal Pepsi. That was more in my face when I was a kid.
Crystal Pepsi? Okay, so Pepsi Blue was late 90s, early 2000s.
No, I remember. I remember. I just...
And they had Mr. Green, which was weird.
Do you remember Surge?
Hell yeah. The Surge is back. You can get Surge again. You can get a tall boy can taller than whatever those bullshits were for like $1 or something.
I don't even remember what... Surge was like a Mountain Dew kind of taste, wasn't it?
Yeah. They had them children jumping over hallway couches and stuff. Why that couch was in the hallway?
It was...
I don't know.
I just thought their advertising back then was great. There was people just like, Surge!
What were children doing in an abandoned facility?
I remember.
Why was there a couch in the middle of the hallway that they had to jump over to get to the Surge? It was just floating.
Speaking of floating, I was at some float party when I was in high school, and I remember probably having drank 4 liters of it, and I threw up.
Surge commercials and
I think
Applejack's commercials went hard.
Well, it's the Surge ones, like, almost were enticing you to try to overdrink the beverage.
They were. And then you had the Applejack's commercials that were like the classic tortoise and the hare. You know, there was always a race between the apple and the cinnamon. Come on now, I am cinnamon. And he'd always win. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Those are top tier commercials. I can't believe you.
Again, our ages are a little off, right? How old are you again?
I'm 30. I'll be 34.
You're 34. So yeah, I've got like a solid 8 years on.
What's today's date? The 5th? Today's Cinco de Mayo? Shut up.
It's our Cinco de Mayo episode, people.
Cinco de Mayo. Check it out. I'm gonna get some Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done something themed, damn it. I mean, I do have some refried beans in the car.
Are there some Cinco de Mayo shows happening tonight?
I don't know.
I might just be going out to the Unclub in Ipsy for the first time.
The Unclub.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how
Mark
the name.
Sweetman.
I'm just wondering how the name came into existence. Maybe he'll be on the show one day and
The Unclub.
Give the etymology of that.
It sounds like he wanted it to be a place for gathering and fun, but nothing that's degenerate or irresponsible. Like a club could be degenerate and irresponsible.
Oh.
But a club could also be like...
When you say degenerate and irresponsible, like, how are you talking?
Like, I shouldn't twerk probably there.
What's that?
I shouldn't probably twerk there.
I didn't know you twerked.
Well,
I don't want to see it. The viewers might. I don't know.
Wholesome ratchet.
This is actually something. You're wholesome ratchet?
Wholesome ratchet.
What is that on, like?
That's my type, actually.
I thought that was like your name on OnlyFans or something.
No, that's my new vape flavor.
Oh, okay. Word wholesome ratchet. I tried vaping for a bit. It's like, see if maybe this would be a substitute some way for weed, but it would satisfy the kind of smoking thing.
It's a give and take.
It's not. I didn't like it.
I have asthma, so it's infinitely better on my lungs than a cigarette.
Yeah.
Like I'm not waking up in the middle of the night hacking up a lung. I'm not coughing up a whole bunch of mucus every night or every morning. It's not real difficult for me to breathe like crazy like it was when I was smoking cigarettes. But now, like, I've never had cavities before, but now that I'm using exclusively vapes, I feel like I've got a couple cavities, and I know I do. But it's got to be, for me to go 30-some years with none.
Right.
But today,
I think what happened
it's
is
the weather change. My allergies are crazy.
No, what happened is he moved up to Michigan from Ohio, and I guess he didn't get the memo that we don't put fluoride in the water here.
Oh, is that what it is?
No.
Oh.
That would be an explanation. No, we do put fluoride in the water.
I think
it's part of a communist plot.
There's no reason to do it.
No, there is. There's definitely a reason. I mean, I believe there's a reason to do it. But a lot of people think it's a communist plot.
It's linked to people not being smart sometimes. Yeah. Fluoride isn't good for your IQ. I read on Twitter or something.
Makes you dumb.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Don't brush your teeth, kids.
Yeah, I mean, no,
That's
I'm
where
glad
ADHD
that's
came from, dude. Colgate.
Colgate, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I thought that was vaccines.
ADHD?
Just all the stuff.
No.
No?
No, I don't know. Growing up, vaccines are so different now. I remember vaccines being a necessary part of getting enrolled in school, but that was really it. You know,
Right.
like you had to have your shots to go to school, just like you had to have your shots for your dog.
Right.
You know, like that was the perception of vaccines for me. You just had to get them to go into places with people. And then now, there's so much that are going into vaccines or not going into vaccines that I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Glad to have him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about him running for president? Have you watched any of the countless podcasts he's done with comedians?
No, I know there's been a couple of them that have been taken down or threatened to, not be funded and stuff. I think that's crazy. I don't know much about him.
Wait, who threatened who? What?
Well, Theo Vaughn did a podcast with him, and his Peloton was like, "You need to take this down, or else we're not going to give you advertisement stuff."
Oh.
And then Dana White did the whole Uno reverse and threw all the Pelotons out of the UFC gym because of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Way to go, Dana White. It's funny because before this, we were kind of looking around on my YouTube recommendations were up. And on Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random this week, he's got Jerry Seinfeld. So I'm going to be very interested to watch that later. But funny you say Dana White because last week, his guest was Dana White.
Yeah.
And
Dana White is notorious for not giving a damn about the interview.
Yeah.
He'll walk away at any point. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to do any of them. To do podcasts and stuff, he's already said he doesn't want to do them.
Yeah.
Which is, I understand. I love doing podcasts. I love having conversations. But if that wasn't your main thing, he doesn't need to do podcasts.
Yeah.
So anytime he goes on a podcast,
the guy's worth $500 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. If I was successful, I wouldn't do it.
But here's the thing. It's interesting though, because it is kind of like going into the Club Random podcast can kind of be like going into a high stakes poker game. Maybe they don't have, even stacks, but they're both people that've got tremendous amounts of money. And Bill Maher himself, has got a net worth north.
It can't be a high stakes poker game if there's no payout.
Well, I think but the thing is, there's no payout. That's the point. It's a high stakes game because you could always say something stupid and fuck yourself, right?
Right. But if you don't, what's the good in it? Then it's just not a really good episode?
Well, no, I'm just saying, I think you want to make good content. I think those people still want to have interesting conversations because I'm sure people ask the questions, be like, I wonder what a conversation between these two people would be like because, right there, it's like Jerry Seinfeld's, Alexa, what's Jerry Seinfeld worth?
Jerry Seinfeld is worth an estimated $900 million US.
Okay, just
he makes around 60
Alexa,
million
stop. Just south of $1 billion. It'll probably, if he lives another 10 years, he will top $1 billion.
That's insane.
He will be the first billionaire comedian. Wait, Alexa, what is Tyler Perry's net worth?
Tyler Perry is worth an estimated $850 million US.
Woo!
He has a salary of around $80 million US.
Alexa, stop. So I was going to say, the only other person who could be anywhere close is Tyler Perry. And Jerry's going to beat him. Jerry, because you know what? He the episode, The Race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry can run real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might not know it, but he can run real fast. No, it's like direct from that episode, The Race. I watched an episode the other day because I had to watch the episode where Jerry tries to get a car reservation because I was in a similar situation where I had a reservation, but there was no car. So, sat down, watched that one with Dad. Relatable. But yeah, but they're, Bill Maher's worth 200 million. He's sitting down with, 900 million this week, 500 million last week. And, some of his guests aren't that high up on the scale, but he gets a lot of heavy hitters. Dr. Phil, his interview with Dr. Phil's good. And it's not Adam Ray as Dr. Phil.
That's funny. That's a fun character. That's a really fun character.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last pod, but I got the fortune of having him as a passenger. Got tickets to his show. It's kind of lucky Uber request. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just right place, right time.
Yeah, he was there not too. It was last week or the week before. Right?
Yeah, I didn't plan to buy tickets, but I was sort of like, I kind of want to see him. And then it just the universe. I've had a lot of bad crap happen to me in the past few weeks, but unlucky shit and some shit that is my own fault. But that stuff doesn't happen without the good stuff happening, and vice versa. That's just how I believe it works.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just all a sequence of events, but
you got to be able to bounce back and forth between the good and bad and prioritize.
I have to accept that there's a universe in which I don't get to have Adam Ray as a passenger, but I also don't have a problem with my car.
Right.
Something I did myself, which is not great when Yeah, it's been stress, man. It's been stress. I don't know. I'm just very anxious. I get bored easily.
Yeah.
So that's why I like doing these podcasts, is because I was like talking to new people. I mean, Brandon's not totally new. I met you.
Detroit Burger Bar.
That's right. But I thought I met you before Detroit Burger Bar.
That was the first time we spoke.
Okay, that's when we spoke. But
yeah.
I saw you in Wyandotte the first time. I'm pretty sure. And Cameron Stoll.
Yeah, I go all over the place. You've seen me probably everywhere. I know
you go to On the Rocks pretty frequently.
Yeah, for the first 8 or 9 months, maybe close to we'll say 10 or 11 months. I was doing, if there was more than one mic that night, I was doing I would do 2-3 mics a night. So people would see me all over the place. Not because I was great, but because I was that hooked on it.
You just want it, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's about, as my former teacher said, it's about reps.
And they're so available. They're so available here.
They are.
Metro Detroit, we're spoiled when it comes to opportunities and spots to just get up and hold a microphone and tell some jokes. You don't have to go anywhere to pay. Like you go to New York or Chicago, sometimes you got to pay just to get in to try to get onto the show up, go up. And, I haven't experienced that. I haven't gone out there, but I've heard the stories. We're in a place where at any given day, there's at least 2 mics going on for free.
Mm-hmm.
Just go, walk up, sign up, get 5-7 minutes.
I guess the question is what is the... If you're paying to go up on mics in Chicago, why are you doing that? I'm trying to understand the thought process behind this.
It's a different place. I don't know. I can't speak to it from experience, but if it's something to where out there it's a higher cost of living, maybe they're more prestigious places, maybe the economy isn't as, affected in the same ways that we are. Maybe it's not a bunch of bars that are just on their least profitable nights inviting people in to try to get some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be differences in the way that those things look.
Yeah. I wish there were.
That's a lot. I hate to say it, but that's a lot of the mics in Detroit. Is the least profitable night of any given bar. They'll have an open mic, which is a great thing for us. It's great for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing for us to have that option.
I'm definitely interested in the business side of comedy. I can see myself in ownership. That's why my dad moved from the chair to the couch the other day. You really do just sink into this. Like, I've got no posture. It's terrible. I don't know if people think they're gonna get seen somewhere else and somebody's gonna get noticed. If it's this sort of like, is it a false notion that you
We're
get
all
seen
local.
somewhere? I mean, but like I'm saying, if you go to Chicago and stuff, or if, like, you know, you say, you know, you heard stories, people go, they pay for time, you know, they're on, you know, you pay for time on the road.
First of all,
I think that's just
you
like,
get the clip, right?
you get the
record
clip,
your stuff.
you get
your
the clip, you get the clip.
You know, you get your clip. You get to network with some people, some comedians on those other places. Maybe next time you go back, you don't have to go to those mics. Maybe there's something you didn't know about. The other thing too is you've got an opportunity to work on jokes that you've been perfecting for however amount of time here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that to me, that's the biggest thing that I'd love to go out of town for, is just to be able to do the joke to a fresh crowd that knows nothing about me. That's, by this time, everybody knows everything that I've said a million times because I've done that many. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has to be something I just thought of today for it to be taken as something new. You know?
Yeah, I get that. You know, like I was telling Matt on the last show, I was supposed to go to Austin, but that got worked around because my priority was seeing the eclipse. Because that was
the ellipse or the eclipse,
The
because that
eclipse.
might be a little bit of a conspiracy theory situation we got.
The eclipse. What's the ellipse?
I don't know. Something about the firmament and the dome shape of things. You know, I'm not a flat earther, but it's in that realm of things. That it's not an eclipse, it was an ellipse. Which an ellipse is the shape of a curve of space.
Okay. I see what you're saying. They were discs aligning.
I guess so. I don't know. Somebody was playing flashcards in the sky. The flat Earth conspiracy is something that I just can't take serious enough to pay attention to.
No, it's obviously.
I don't know the details enough.
When somebody who believes that the earth is flat completely develops something that will go into space, then that will prove their theory, I guess. But they can't, so I think that's just like
into space.
It's just space is that, like, just knowing that things are in space,
Space is
and we can
relatively
see
close.
them orbiting. We can see them orbiting.
Space is relatively close.
Right, but the thing is that here's the thing: if we were on a disk, when you see the International Space Station, you'd see it moving in a straight line, not in an arc.
The lowest point of sea level to the highest point above sea level on the Earth is only like 17 miles.
Okay.
Apart.
And
So,
your
like,
point is,
getting to space, that's like 26 miles up or 60 some miles up, I think it is. It's not very far.
No,
So
I'm not even talking.
to get to space, you're not going to see the curvature once you get to space.
We've gotten to the moon. We can get to Mars. We've gotten all sorts of other.
I don't
places.
see a flat Earth anything getting enough money to go further than like a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
You know, they got to find the ice wall. Take us to the ice wall. Take us to that.
Is that what they claim?
Yeah, there's
There's an ice wall.
at the North Pole. It surrounds us, all of us. I think there's something in the water. I do. I think there's something in the ocean for sure. I think there's
Fluoride.
No, not something. Just I'm saying like
All back.
there's so much of the ocean that's, all we have is sonar or some sort of radio reading, and there's so many things that are obstructed. How many underwater caverns that we are there that we didn't know that were there for hundreds of years. And,
Well, we're only
miles and
learning
miles
more.
and deep, and it just different things. Like if you look at air, if you had light shining into the room and you blew smoke into the room, you can see how air and the way it moves is fluid, just like water.
Okay.
And then oil. A lot of things move very fluidly. So who's to say there's not a more dense or less dense thing underneath the ocean a few miles down that we haven't really been able to get to, that holds a different type of life, that has a different type of civilization, that's just too far separated for ourselves to get to. Atlantis, dude. What if it's there?
So they're living like a couple thousand miles under the Earth's crust.
Could be. We don't know. How would we ever know? Just like how would we ever know if there was somebody in space in another planet? It'd be much more likely to see a sign of that just because of,
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think there's stuff underground that we don't know. Secret societies.
More than ants.
Yeah, there's so much Earth, dude. There's so much Earth.
Yeah, I mean, we still uncover buried shit all the time. So
have you seen the map of like the population of where humans actually live, like where people, like the actual populations of humans, where they live over the map of the world?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of unpopulated Earth, like a lot, a lot.
It would have been so weird living in the time of very few people.
Yeah,
like when you think like the population of the world when, like in the beginning, I guess 0 or 1 AD, whatever. You know what AD means?
after death, after deus,
Anno Domini.
Anno Domini. That sounds like the end of a line of a Supernatural. Supernatural. The Winchester brothers.
No, it's just
When they're casting out a demon.
It's just High Latin.
Anno
So
Domini.
yeah, that's it's High Latin. Anno Domini.
And what does that mean?
In the year of our Lord.
Which one? Who's Lord? Christian Lord?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
So Jesus? In the year of Jesus?
the
And that
year
guy?
of Jesus, yes. That
Okay.
guy. That's what the AD means. So it's still after death, right? Regardless of language, it's AD.
Right.
So it's Latin. It's Latin.
If you could pick a language from way back then to be fluent in as if you grew up in that time,
This is easy.
what language would that be?
Norse.
Norse? Why?
I think that was the more. I guess it's kind of like what would I think would be like a greater challenge in those times, and I mean, would I want to be living in the Mediterranean in those times, or do I want to be like the Norse people? I think I want to be more like the Norse people. Sounds like more interesting. Sounds like they more kind of like had their own kind of way about them, The like pretty much everybody living in the Roman Empire. I mean, I'm not saying that it was the very long arm of government when you have Alexa, what was the population of the Roman Empire in the year 1 AD?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, 30 million.
All right. So 30 million people. That's like, you're in fucking California, dude.
That's a lot of people.
You're in California.
I would be more into like Sumerian texts. Like
Okay.
ancient Sumerian. Do you think there was a civilization before ours that we've forgotten? Intelligent.
I don't, but I don't deny that it's possible.
Have you seen the Graham Hancock stuff on Netflix?
I'm not.
It's a pretty interesting watch. There's the time of the Ice Age, right at the end of the Ice Age. There's some pretty coincidental and monumental megalithic structures that are all pointed to.
Yes, that's
specific
the
things.
kind of stuff that makes me consider
Like
those
predates,
possibilities.
Like the Sphinx being far older than what we're told it is.
Right.
That kind of stuff. I feel like there was definitely, because the pyramids, that's a conversation I'm not intelligent enough to have. But for that time, even, that's crazy. Like if you were to go to the pyramids today, pyramids of Giza, and look at them, you'd be baffled. Like that's out of this world. Like we couldn't imagine building something like that now.
Have you been?
I haven't been, but I've seen enough pictures and heard of enough testimonies to believe people when they say It's that big, you know.
I think they need a ceasefire in Giza.
And well, I guess to kind of put it in perspective, I go on top of the roof of the Renaissance Center. That's 1,100 feet up there, and it looks pretty tall from driving up. But the Great Pyramid of Giza, Alexa, how tall is the Great Pyramid of Giza?
The Great Pyramid of Giza is 455 feet tall.
Right, so it's like
And then
45, 50
pyramid,
stories.
and it's
45
like 4
stories.
blocks long. Monumental. It's huge. To be that wide, that tall, that many ton things of granite, like to move it that much, that I don't understand how long it had to have been working on, or how long it had already been there, or how many different civilizations or generations of people would have had to work on it to make it what it is. There had to have been something before Egypt to just achieve that. That's my thing. I don't know enough about it to talk intelligent about it.
Yeah, I mean,
But I've seen really smart humans in today's age, and I don't think anybody could just come together and be like, we should make something huge like this, and it work. You know, it'd be successful. And a whole civilization like ancient Egypt, they all contributed to the pyramids. You got that many people bought into making something that big. What is that?
well, didn't they just have like Jews build, like do all the work?
There's a lot of conflicting stories. I don't know any of them. You know, too much to
Again,
talk.
not experts here.
But
Just
when
disclaimer, not experts.
take just humans, regardless of who they were, where they came from. How many humans does it take, and how many years, how many generations does it take to build that without the technology? Even with the technology we have now, it'd be difficult to make the pyramids with the exact precision that the pyramids are in. So to do it, how many thousands of years ago? How did they do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Without some sort of, even in today's age, I'm thinking out of this world kind of technology, you know? It had to have been alien. For me to think back and...
What if it was what if it was just a religion?
Do you
the
think
goal
that-
was
do you
to
think the
build
pilgrims-
to the top of the tower?
Do you think the pilgrims could have built the pyramids?
No.
Do you think that pick anybody other than the Egyptians, do you think they could have built the pyramids?
Like, okay, maybe like some ancient Asian culture.
Right. So what is it about ancient cultures that we can just accept the fact that they made these monumental, megalithic, bigger than anything that we have in ancient or in current time? What is it about the ancient people that we just accept the fact?
We've got Mount
Like
Rushmore.
the Great Wall of China. You know what I mean?
The Great Wall of China is much easier for me to conceive.
It is. It's more current, you know, more recent than a lot of things.
It's very practical.
But
Some people even think it's a good idea today.
But look how huge that wall is.
I know. It's a great wall.
People don't.
I'm gonna say that's there. Look at that wall. Like I said, it's a big wall. It's
It's a wonderful wall. But I just don't understand. People now are so comfortable with the comforts of today. Wi-Fi, ordering apps, you know, delivery services, transportation, all these things. They're so comfortable with it, but at the same time, we accept that people thousands of years ago built pyramids.
I think we accept it because we can't explain it, so we focus on what we can explain and tend to deprioritize.
I don't know many
what we
people that
can't
I could be
explain.
confident in them building furniture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, this was a chore.
But people were. It's just real easy to accept
didn't
that
have
people that barely understood clothing could build pyramids and the Great Walls and the Easter Island heads and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I love the Easter Island heads. Those guys are great.
You don't have, so you don't, you pay a lot of attention to current events and politics and stuff, but you don't really go back.
No, I do.
Ancient history too.
I do. I mean, I'm not like the guy on that show.
Yeah.
Ancient Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find him entertaining. But I'm more in the. I could think about that stuff, I guess it informs me that, like, that stuff informs me that conventional norms surrounding certain aspects of our lives don't really make any sense or hold any weight. Like, they hold weight within our society, but they're not truisms. They're not universally true. Like the things that, kind of the normative Judeo-Christian values that are adopted in America. It's like, I mean, even people who aren't religious still kind of view the idea of right and wrong, I mean, very much through the lens of the Ten Commandments. Like, you're not supposed to,
Don't
slut it
steal.
up, guy or girl. I love being a guy slut. They have a worse name for that. Don't steal. Be nice to your parents.
Don't kill people.
Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't kill people. That's. I don't even. I mean. I guess. I mean. Yeah. And exactly. Don't. All that stuff is obviated, right? Or I guess there was a point in time where it was not obviated.
I think it defines morality and humanity.
Yeah.
I think it's less about religion, more about humanity.
I got this book here that I've had forever. It's called Funny Letters from Famous People. I'm just going to pick a random one out of here. This is forwards by this guy named Charles Osgood. He passed away recently. He used to be the host of CBS Sunday Morning. Really good guy. All right, let's see here. I don't know who that person is. I got to pick somebody whose name are... Okay. Let's see here.
Rip Van Winkle. I don't remember the last time I read a book. Maybe high school.
Well, this isn't really so much reading. You can kind of read it in doses, right? Because they're just... I need to find a brief one here, because I know they've got brief ones. Yeah. Well, you know what? Forget it. Just no. Yeah. Maybe this isn't a good book. Maybe that's why I haven't read it.
Bamboozled by your own setup, dude.
No, I just don't want. I mean, I think it's more interesting to complain than to read, because I thought there were much. Okay, Isaac Asimov.
Azimuth?
Asimov. Is it Asimov? Asimov.
Azimuth? That sounds like
Asimov. He's a science fiction
I'm
guy.
saying something incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, he's the science fiction writer. Science fiction author Isaac Asimov wrote an admiring letter to science writer Carl Sagan in December 1974. Dear old Carl, I have just finished The Cosmic Connection and loved every word of it. You are my idea of a good writer because you have an unmannered style, and when I read what you write, I hear you talking. One more thing about the book made me nervous. It was entirely too obvious that you are smarter than I am. I hate that. Oh. It's interesting people used to write letters.
To people they'd never met, just out of respect.
Or even to just people they do know. I mean, we've all like kind of maybe slid into the DM of a comedian we like, and they're like, "Hey, you're awesome," or something like that. I guess that would be the 21st century equivalent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It's just there's something so, I don't know. Mail feels real.
Every time I've gotten broken up with and I wasn't ready to be done with the relationship, the womanly advice is always write them a letter. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know what writing a letter is gonna do.
I don't think I've. When's the last time you opened a letter? If I got a letter addressed to me,
a letter from a
expecting
person that
bad
like
news.
I know, or a letter from like somebody asking me about something. Like, because I told you I've gotten those questionnaires in the mail recently.
Oh yeah, that's
Since
true.
I'm running for state rep. I don't know. It's funny though, like one actually has the entire questionnaire. This one's for the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, which I'm not going to answer because they typically only endorse Republicans. So it just seems like a waste of time. And they got the full questionnaire there. And they're like, alternatively, you can go to this website.
Are
And they
you
got
running
this
as
other.
independent?
What's that?
Are you running as independent?
I was a Democrat.
Democrat.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the other one is just, hey, go to this. It's a piece of paper in the mail that says, hey, go to this website. So
The most political I get in my personal life is I play a video game called Overwatch, and there is a text chat in game to where you can text in the chat and everybody in the lobby can see it. And if I have somebody that's on my team that's doing particularly bad, I will just put it in
it's
the
not
chat.
an episode of the podcast without the train.
Yeah, but I'll put in the chat, like, say you're our tank player, I would say our tank is Republican in that chat. And that's as political as I get. And it's just so fun to watch somebody defend, not being Republican in the text chat of a video game.
That's funny. That's a great burn, because usually in a video game you call people fags.
Right, something
And-
outlandish, and I'll just type in, "Are Lucio's Republican?"
I think fag is such a funny word because like people really know it's wrong to call somebody that, but they don't know it's wrong. They don't think it's wrong to call their friends that, right? And it's just like or like if you're mad at some guy for just like getting in an argument with you, it could be like, imagine you getting angry and be like, you're a fag, and the guy's like,
What is it?
And then some other guy's like, dude, that guy's actually gay. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
What is it about today that we can't accept language changing over time? Like, why do we have to define it so permanently now?
Yeah,
Because with the
where do you
conversation.
stand on the R word?
Well, I'll say just straight up, I grew up in the 90s. To me, the words that I'm saying is far less about the word that I'm saying and the intent that I have when I say it.
Exactly.
So yes, every word that can be deemed offensive is maximum offensive with that intention. But sometimes I say things, when you're from the 90s and 2000s, you could call somebody a girl dragon. And
Right.
it would be, like it's whatever it is in context. You're a girl dragon.
you can call a white person the N-word in the 90s.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Well, I'm not in the 90s. I'm saying in the 90s.
It wouldn't have made sense in the 90s.
That's why it would be funny.
Yeah.
Like imagine if
I
your
guess.
friend called you
But
that.
back then it was more about the burn. It wasn't about the implications of the word. It was more about the burn or the intention. It was in the beginning of video games, and my generation is almost responsible for the way that people talk on Twitter. I hate that I'm a millennial. Like I'm at the old. I'm an old millennial.
I'm
I'm
the oldest millennial, as I turned 18 in the year 2000.
Is it?
In the year
Okay.
2000.
Yeah, but it's just once the internet came out and everybody was just like, I'm going to say the thoughts that should be in my head publicly. That's when everything changed. And now words have to be defined permanently for whatever reason. Like, words changed, Like, when I was growing up, fag didn't mean exclusively a gay or homophobic or homosexual slur. Like, it didn't exclusively mean that. It was just like just a diss.
Well, that's the thing. Same way with gay, but the point is, if it was a diss, it's like you're saying, oh, you're calling somebody that because it's implied that that's a bad thing. It's something they don't want to be associated with it. But I think what I'm saying is now we're so woke that I think,
But
like,
in the
if you called somebody a
in the
fag,
90s, they let the word carry the weight rather than the person speaking it.
that's true.
If that makes sense. The
Yeah.
word is the word you shouldn't say, but we're not going to define the person that said the word because it's the word that holds the weight, not the person that holds the weight.
I think
Now everybody is putting the power on people. And some sort of hierarchical thing. Like guys can't say certain things
Right.
to women, whether
Right.
it's nice or not nice,
Right.
and it be acceptable. I'm one of the most respectful. Like as far as comedians go, you'll never see me flirt in public. You'll never see me try to, hit on a girl that's there for the show or another female comedian, anything like that.
Right.
But a compliment can be taken whatever way it wants to be taken,
Right.
because it's no longer, the words don't hold the merit anymore. It's the person. It's the perception of the person. It's the identity of the person.
I think in our situation here, I think it's okay for us to use the word fag because there's probably somebody watching this saying those two guys are fags.
Yeah, probably. Those guys talking about words and feelings.
All right, fuck man. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, but let's back to Let's Book for a minute. Just want to remind everybody that's gonna be May 13th.
Yep.
New Way Bar,
New Way
7 p.m. If you
7
want,
p.m. is
yeah,
going to be sign-ups.
sign-ups. So
Yep.
be there at 6:45.
Yeah, I would be there as early as possible, honestly.
Yeah.
We've been, the last 2 times we put the list out, and within a minute, like as fast as the list can be signed, it's full. So get there as fast as you can.
Does this earn me a guaranteed spot doing the podcast?
Does it earn you a
Do I have to
guaranteed spot?
sign up?
I can't do anything that's going to be unfair to everyone else as far as the 20 spots for 2 minutes, but you're more than welcome to jump up on the panel. You can jump up on the panel for a couple comedians. Jump up there if you want to give some insight, or maybe if you're inspired to jump up on the panel. Say you see a comedian that you like and you want to bring them on the podcast, run up, grab a microphone, and book them.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So you're more than welcome to do that. You can be part of the show in that way.
Ooh. I appreciate that offer. I might just take you up on that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. All right. Well, don't miss this. I do this podcast so people can come on and promote their stuff and get pumped, get excited, because this is a great thing he's put together. He's, the guy wants to get booked. He says, you know what, I'm not getting booked. I'm, get booked myself. This whole idea behind let's book Brandon. And then, he's just like, what's the
Brandon.
word?
That's my Instagram handle. Fun fact, I haven't been
He's manifesting. He's manifesting
I
is what
haven't
he's
been
doing.
booked for a single thing since I started the show.
It's okay. But the thing is
Like
you've got
everybody
your,
sees,
you've got your
he's
own,
running a show now, he's fine.
No, you've got,
Yeah.
but that's that's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, it's the intention of the show is for everyone to come to a room that either they may not have been to. I try to take bookers that wouldn't have been at that room otherwise and bring them there for the day, pack the room out, bring some comedians that wouldn't have been in that room. The last 4 times we've packed it out to the point where we've got, it's standing room only, it's people are getting mad at me because they're not up in time. It's frustrating. It's difficult to work with.
All right.
But I do want to shout out Jaron Gordon and Floyd Jones, as well as Cliff DeMarco. Those are our regulars on the show. You will see them at every Let's Book show that ever happens. Floyd obviously is our DJ. He does a lot of stuff with the DJ and the sound. Jaron and Cliff are regular comedians. You'll see them participating in the show in different ways. Also shout out to Cameron Kelm. She'll be opening as our first female paid regular of the show on May 13th.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Well, get there early if you want to compete. If you just want to join in the fun, do that too. There's going to be a lot of comedians. It's something where if you've got friends and family that can stomach it, maybe some of the vulgarity, it's a good time. It really, I've been to the show. It's a good time. So thanks again, Brandon, and peace. Have a great one.